Mm-hmm. 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 Hello. And good Monday. It's another day. It's a President's Day today.
Hey, y'all. Good morning.
And that, of course, is
The-
I was fixing to call you somebody different, and I was just going, where is that coming from?
Do I want to know what you were going to call me?
I was going to call you Ty Tabor, which you wouldn't even know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
That is the guitar player for King's X.
Don't know who King's X is.
King's X is a rock band that was a national rock band, but the guitar player was from Pearl.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, where's that coming from? My brain, it amazes me how my brain just
a brain fart, as I call them. A blonde moment, maybe.
Yeah, that one stunk up the room. But anyway, we're here this morning, and let's start out with all the legislatures. I don't know if they're working today because it is President's Day. But they may be just taking time. They're up. They're all in town. You're driving past all the blight of Jackson, Mississippi. You're riding past all the blight of the state, and you don't know what you're going to do about any of it except, it's not my problem.
It's my problem.
That's what you just said just then. But
no, I said
if it's not in my district, it's not my problem.
If it's not my ward, it's not my problem.
Yeah. Y'all, we've got to do something. We've got to talk. We're going to have to talk about election stuff and election crimes and the things. I don't believe many of these politicians. Now, I haven't done all my homework because I was working on this. And as you know, I don't do any homework to do my show. I just come in here.
Yesterday, you had some homework there.
Yesterday, I did some homework Benny Thompson's district to see how many Republicans in the House are in Benny Thompson district. I got 1, 2. No, these are senators.
Senators in
District
too.
Yeah, I haven't gone through the House yet.
Okay.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Republicans. And then, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Democrats.
So roughly half Republican.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is the way that you wind up with your the dividing.
Right.
Because let's say Hinds County's got two. There's more than 2, but 2 that just Hinds County is the only part of them.
Right.
Okay, and that's John Horn and Hillman Frazier.
Okay.
But then, in order to, you go look at the way they do this, they take for when you go to Michael Guest's district,
right, the other side,
or
55,
Trent Kelly's district, or any of those, you see where they just cut out the white population or the conservative population
and give them a Democratic senator, like Blunt.
No,
because Blunt is actually in Fondren. We have Blunt, who is
he's in Hinds also.
He is. Okay. Yes, he is.
But what I'm saying is, for instance, they'll take out part of Ridgeland and put it over into Rankin County, so it's in Madison, into Michael Guest's district.
Right.
Okay, and then that gives you these are only the people that represent Benny's district. These are the state legislators that Benny, and then they go through and just cut people out. So,
like they have a plan with what they're doing.
Where
like
and I got into this conversation with somebody the other day because I believe that DEI, if it's an issue, should mean that you can't look at racial makeup to decide what districts people should be in.
No.
I know. I mean, if all things are going to be equal,
right,
then why do we have to decide? I mean, Just take it.
Why is Fondren cut out and just a little bitty swipe of it given to Michael Guest?
But why don't you just
rest of around?
Why don't you just come down the state and say, here's 100 people, here's 100 people, or however many people, 10,000 people.
Why do they shift constantly, though? I was talking to Ashby last week, Ashby Foote, who's running for District 1 councilman. He said that they just redrew the precinct lines for the city as well.
Well,
I mean, how do we keep up with any of this if you're constantly shifting and moving the precinct
and they're going to
around?
They say population shift, this, that, and the other.
Well,
but
does that matter as much as easy to vote and your precinct's not moving around all the time?
And I think that you only can redo districts at a certain time after the census. So you're not recounting people between the census and the census.
But the census was 5 years ago.
Thank you very much.
They should have done this a long time ago.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't sound very efficient to me.
Thank you very much. We run a government that is not efficient.
No.
Okay. And then of course all of our statewide elected officials, not statewide, statewide, the congressional people, the Senate and the House.
Right.
They all voted to fund USAID. I want everybody to understand that. Every one of them voted to fund that on the 31st of this year.
They did.
31st of this year. Trump was in office when they put it in.
Right.
And then you got Roger Wicker blowing some smoke about, well, JD just doesn't. He's a little bit over his skis talking about we're going to go, how we're going to fight wars and this, that, and the other.
No.
I mean, has he lost his damn mind?
No.
I mean, the next place that Doge was going was the military budget.
Exactly.
He will not be happy when they're through.
No, they won't.
And you're watching this political game play out where the world wants you to find every dollar and explain it.
Right. And they don't want to. They're throwing fits.
And Republicans and Democrats alike have been stealing this money for a long time. Yep. And then now they're asking the question, how do you make $220,000 a year and you're worth $40 million?
Exactly.
You've been in office for 6 years now and you're worth
$15
million.
Or you've been in office as long as Nancy Pelosi has been, and you're worth $100 million.
And then they ain't even looked at the overseas accounts yet.
No.
I mean, she might have more money than.
What do you think these wars? It's all bringing the money back to them. I haven't seen I'd love to see from Ukraine how much money they've spent on bullets. And
then how many of those Democrats spent money to keep Biden in office? To where they continue to get the money. Biden is the one that's sitting up there. Biden might have more money than Elon. He just doesn't have a brain to know that he's got it.
Because his brother has
it. And it is
instead.
President's Day. I shouldn't be talking bad about an ex-president, Biden.
But he
sucks.
Well.
But anyway.
Biden wasn't running the show. Who was? I asked that over and over and over again, and nobody would ever say it.
I think we're going to get to that. I think in the undoing of corruption, you got to understand, you just can't do it all in one day. But what he does is he lays it out, and he lets it go to court, and it goes to court, and then the court says, well, we're overstepping the president's boundary. And then that judge is sitting there going, he's going to come after me.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna clarify the rules and keep going, because they keep coming back, and Doge is right.
Yeah.
And the president is right. It's just like the city. This in Jackson, the council gives the money to the mayor, and the mayor spends the money to make sure. And when he spends it, he makes sure he's spending it on what the council told him to spend it on.
Right.
And then he gets the best deal he can for garbage, and the best deal he can for
this is what he should have done. What he should have done.
But that's what his job is.
He did the polar opposite.
Get the best and be done with it.
Right. It never turns in budgets, and I mean, I'm still searching for financials, and because
but that's that. I mean, and then it's like, for instance, I got into this argument about everybody talks about this 15 days. Let's talk about that for just a second. If we went to Jeremy England, y'all, this guy, he is a Republican.
Yep.
According to his
party,
what he wrote down,
and
the party, and also the party accepts him as a member.
Okay.
But This 15-day plan, think about this for just a second. Some people look at this as the county runs the election. No. In this case, the city would run the election.
Yep.
And so for 15 days, you were going to put a voting machine in Chokeway's hands and secure it 24 hours a day for 15 days.
You're gonna maintain chain of custody.
And then you tell me who's going to win.
Exactly.
When you don't trust the guy.
When we can't maintain chain of custody for 12 hours in a precinct.
Right. I mean,
but we're going to do it for 16 days in an office.
Y'all just don't know how bad the system is. And nobody can help you because the legislature has not given Michael Watson the power to, when you bring him a problem.
Right.
And can say, okay, I'll log it.
Yep.
We'll keep up with it. We'll investigate it.
Yep.
Then once they find something that is real, they give it to Lynn Fitch and it falls dead on everybody's ears. I mean, that's the reality.
Right.
That's the reality.
Right.
The system is set up to where kick it down the road, kick the can down the road.
Stall.
And
stall.
That's it.
That's a stall. It's a stall tactic.
And when you're only in your term is only so long.
Right.
You will never, like, for instance, kick it down the road on Benny Thompson because by the time you get to court, it's over.
Exactly.
Because that's a 2-year term.
That's a stall. They know that they're doing wrong. They know that they shouldn't be doing it, but they also know that they won't be held accountable for it for another 6 months. And by then the issue will be gone. It is the most unethical thing to do. And
all you good Republicans who feel like you have elected good people to represent you in your district, in your county, in your city, in your state, and all your statewide officials, and then your Republican Party officials, do you hear any of them talking about anybody that needs to run against Benny Thompson already? Not to mention that they need to be you always need to be working on having a better bench.
Yep.
And more people to run. But in reality, y'all, right now, when it all happened, why wasn't anybody already? We should be pushing somebody right now because, for instance,
somebody stand up.
I mean, because what? It's a year. We now have Benny has 22 months left on this term.
Yep.
Okay. 22 months
until we find somebody who's going to take it to the people in District 2.
And we elected again, and basically the election will be like in 15 months.
Yep.
So, okay. And anybody that wants to challenge anybody, I have a friend of mine that wants to challenge Michael Guest.
Okay.
And he keeps saying, I need to get this in order. I need to get that in order. I said, no, you're wasting time. You need to tell everybody that you want to run against them and get out there and start running. Don't.
I found it was a snap decision, just kind of click in my head happened.
You just can't hem and haw. The clock was running on election day. And right now is your best time to attack any one of these people because they wasted your money. And as this all comes out, you're going to want your name on the top of the pile.
Yep.
So all of you people out there that are thinking about running for office, quit thinking and start announcing that you're going to run for office.
Yep.
You hadn't got to register right now, but you can go ahead and start putting it out there that you want to go to Washington, which I'll tell you right now, I'm not running for Benny's job. I don't want to live in Washington. That would be the most miserable place in the world for me to ever live.
Yeah, it would be.
And being from Mississippi, I think that when you go to Washington, if you want to stay too long, you're not there to represent people from Mississippi because you couldn't stay there.
No. And let's not forget, you don't have to live in District 2 to run in District 2. All you've got to do is appeal to the people that you want to do what's right for that area. I mean, because the lines move so often.
Yeah. You
could be written out. I mean, I lived 2 blocks over from where District 2 started. So people got to stand. Somebody stand up and do it.
Okay.
I can't do it. I'm on
okay.
Another
So all you
block.
Republicans that are sitting out there saying you're Republican and you're going to do the right thing and you're going to move forward in life and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Get off your butt and start doing it. I mean, we're going into these cities elections right now.
Start paying attention.
How many Republicans are running in the Jackson election
we've got,
other than the mayor's race?
We've got two. In wards. Me in District 7.
Yeah.
And then a lady named Bethany Williams Seraph, I think is how you say Seraph.
Right.
In District 2. And then we've got the mayors.
And in Canton, we have 2 people running. In Ridgeland, I feel like I helped inspire this, but we have one person that is challenging an alderman, one of Gene McGee's aldermen. But other than that, everybody else is already reelected.
Right.
Already there. Nobody running for it.
No.
And when Democrats don't run and Republicans don't run, you get what you get. So
fortunately, in Jackson, we have plenty of candidates all the way around in every ward.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he can't cheat.
Well, everybody needs
because he's going to have a voting machine in his office that the end of every day he can basically pull
and that's
recalibrate.
And that's when you do that's on the 15-day program.
Yep.
But that doesn't work. We'll get back and talk more in depth about what needs to happen right after this on the Chip Matthews Show with Taylor Turcotte on WYAB. And we're back on a Monday right here on WYAB.
Happy Monday, everyone. It's a beautiful Monday.
Beautiful, chilly Monday.
Yes, chilly.
Man,
it's only going to get colder.
Hey, when that wind came through the other night, it just blew through the building.
Ooh, yep. It's going to get down to like 19 on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cold?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so.
Maybe wet.
So the problem in the world is nobody, or rather less than 1% of the population, I would say it's less than 1% of the population of Mississippi knows what is supposed to go on in a voting precinct. Correct. Okay. So when you see somebody telling you this, and this, you feel like they've been trained and they tell you what you're supposed to do and they know how they're going to do it. Now, many of you walk in there and go, they're crooked already. You can look at them and tell them they know what's going on. That's right, because when they got trained, were not trained properly. Yep. Now, there is no test when you train. You go to the class and they say, this is what you do. This is what you do. 2 or 3 people ask questions. Then the day of the thing, you look through the book and you got 7 people in the room. And you're going to say, surely that guy knows what's going on. Yeah, not necessarily. And you get to the end of the day and nobody knows how to do anything. Nope. In Hinds County in 2022, they only printed every other page of the manual. Now, let's remember this. When you elect a county official, election commissioner, right, you're assuming that they are competent enough to learn the rules so that they can teach somebody else the rules. Oh, yeah. You know, it's sort of like you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and sooner or later, you don't have a good copy. You've got blurry rules. Okay. And people do whatever they want. And this is what happens in every election in Mississippi. Yep. Now, you really can't get onto these people that are elected from the county, because unless you are dedicated, and we have some that are dedicated to doing it right, and are real patriotic and this, that, and the other, going dot I's, cross T's, everything else. Yep. Those people are the good ones. Yep. Now let's talk about the others. There are others there that do not give a flip about what's going on. And their job is to purge the rolls. So if you're in a district that a bunch of 100-year-olds are in, and he doesn't purge them, that person's still on the ballot. Yeah. And it leads to a possibility of fraud in each election where everybody yells. Right. So step one needs to be, the election commissioners need to get paid more than what they get paid. They're not allowed. They serve for 4 years and they don't get any retirement benefits. Right. And every dollar that they make, they have to physically come in and work. Right. Okay. Right. And it's a part-time job. Right. And you've got to find time in your day to go. I mean, we have officials from Canton in the Madison County district that allegedly come in at 4:00 in the morning before they go work for their city job with the mayor's office to get it done. And they say they do that, but I don't believe that for a minute. Just like there's another guy in another district in Madison County who all of his hours to fulfill his obligation for why we pay him are after business hours. They're after like 6:00 at night. Right. Says comes in every night at 9. And they, and I understand it's a part-time job and you come in when you can, but you're not going to make me believe you come in 5 days a week or 6 days or 7 days a week to get in these hours, because they get paid basically by the hour. Why would you want to do a job like that? To be corrupt, unless you were patriotic and felt like doing the right thing. Wanting to clean something up. Then you would do it. And then these people should every week you shouldn't be ever complaining that these districts have extra people on the rolls that they haven't purged, because the good districts are purging. I got 2 people to purge because somebody died. Right. They'll go months without anybody to purge in these other districts. Yeah, because they don't want to purge anybody. They want to leave them there and continue to use that vote. Well, you also, when you use that vote, I would bet when they decide to divide districts up, districts become larger or smaller based on the number of people in the district. Right. So more manipulation goes on. Exactly. I understand that Mr. Steen, because the supervisors have a little bit to play inside these things, because the supervisors are ultimately responsible for their district election commissioner, although that person is elected separately. Not anymore. No.
All that got changed.
No. That person, the supervisor, is still ultimately responsible to make sure that the job got done.
That it gets done. Okay.
That it gets done.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever happens in his district,
right,
is his responsibility
with his election commissioner.
Although he didn't do it. So that means he can blame his election commissioner.
Right.
But then he's going to harass that election commissioner the whole time he's in office, saying, I got to take the blame.
Right.
So, but they pitch it down on these guys, and these people work hard, the ones that do work hard, and then there's those that don't. And they work harder at cheating, the ones that cheat.
Yep. Yep.
But they're being manipulated by the supervisor above them. And then when you report a crime, you report it to your election commission. And then they in turn report to who? The
supervisor.
The supervisors. Okay. And then if it goes further, it goes to Secretary of State's office, where all they do is just log it and write it down because they have no enforcement power.
Nobody has any enforcement powers to do anything.
Nobody can come in and help you.
No.
And then he turns it over to Lynn Fitch, which the last event that I turned over to Lynn Fitch's office, which included 100 people.
Oh, yeah.
She sent me a letter. I have the letter. I have the receipts, people. And that letter says, we will not be prosecuting any election crimes.
Yeah, see, I would just give up. I'd ask them and then they'd say no and they wouldn't do anything. And then
every election cycle.
I've got videos of unsecured ballot boxes from 2022.
Well,
who holds who was supposed to hold Tony Johnson accountable for what she did?
Well, the way it works is the people are supposed to hold them accountable, but the people don't know the rules.
I don't have any teeth. How can I hold her accountable? Right. I was standing there looking her in the face, and how do I hold them accountable?
The people and the voters have no responsibility, and they have all the responsibility according to lawmakers. They'll say if the people don't vote the right person in, that's on them.
No, well, see, but if they're running our election and basically cheating us out of our elections,
correct?
Then how are we going to hold them accountable?
So, making a new way to vote is not the thing.
No,
fix the problem. You have, because right now, 45 days of absentee voting ahead. I heard him say on the thing, he goes, in 45 days, that's what holds up the election every time, because they have to take those absentee ballots and hand count them. No, that is not what happened. You have an envelope inside an envelope. You take the first envelope out, you put all the envelopes on the table. That way you don't know who voted in that envelope.
Right.
Then you open those envelopes and put those together. Then you run them through the same machine that everybody else does, and it takes just a few minutes,
right,
to run them all.
I mean, decades ago, when I was a little girl, we had the Reagan overnight. So don't give me the crap that it takes more time.
Okay, so
I mean,
that's problem number one.
All of a sudden, we have problems with voting.
So you and I have just solved the
numbers.
All the votes can go through the machine.
Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, the next problem is the 7 days to wait for an ID to come in. When you vote absentee, you have to bring an ID. When you vote on election day, you must have to have an ID. Delbert put in these 7 days saying it was the honest thing to do because people forget their ID. No,
it gives them time to figure out how many votes they need to make up.
If you were showing up to the poll, if you were showing up to get a check from the Social Security office, you'd bring your ID.
Exactly.
When you
everybody has an ID.
Everybody has an ID that votes.
Yes.
And so all you got to do is bring it to vote. You don't bring it to vote, you don't vote.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You know, if you left it at home, go back and get it.
All that these days are doing is every day they're going to pull that flash drive, and it's telling them a heads up of how many votes they need to make up on election day.
For 7 days, the crooks have all the information that they need to figure out what they need to do to repair their candidacy.
Right.
And that's what's going on, y'all.
Right.
If you don't have so first we need to get rid of the 7 days after the election, because at first you probably needed the first couple of times we did voter ID, but after that,
no,
it's voter ID, folks. It's called bring your ID.
Exactly. Everybody has an ID. And how many times does that actually happen?
It happens all the time. And
but
then
it's
number
people
two,
who are,
well, we're going to take that 7 days regardless. And we take that 7 days for more ballots to come in and this, that, and the other. If the ballot
the point is how much cheating is going on, and when is the everyday person going to wake up to it? The way it
should be is on election night, nobody goes home till we count all the votes, period. and we have a winner.
Well, and counting the votes shouldn't be that hard.
It isn't that hard. It isn't that hard. It's the mathematical equations to fix it to where you win. Hold on, we got to take another break. We'll be back and argue about this, or rather agree about this.
Yes.
After that, right here on WYAB. And it's a lovely Tuesday, and we're tiptoeing
Monday.
through the. Oh, it's Monday?
It's Monday.
Okay, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
And we're tiptoeing through the tulips
Yes.
with me.
That song.
It.
I wonder how many people it rubs the wrong way.
I just know this, that when it's played,
right,
we're about to talk.
Okay.
And that's sort of it's better than a horn going bomb, 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 bomb. He's coming back. He's back now. And he's got Taylor with him. And they're going to talk about the corruption of Mississippi. It's the Chuck Matthews Show with Taylor Turcotte. But anyway, I regress. Gather up your friends and join the party.
Yes.
Okay. So let's recap so far where we're at. Okay. So right now, the biggest thing we need to do, if you were going to do real election reform, this new bill of what they want to do is insanity, because it does not work. Right. It maybe works in some honest counties and cities, but it doesn't work. And since we believe that all politicians are honest people, it doesn't work because we know they're not.
No.
Okay. So I digress. Let's go through this. So election night should be exactly that, election night.
Right.
It's over. When the polls close at 7, we're through. We're counting votes.
Numbers. Let's go.
We're counting all the votes tonight, and that's the winner.
Yep.
Challenges will occur after that.
Yep.
And see, the way it goes now is you have 7-day window to prepare your challenge or prepare your way you're going to steal this election
and
do all of that.
Right.
Whereas at the time you count them, that's that. And then anything else would go to court. So we finished that night. And then on absentee voting, those ballots, contrary to popular belief, are taken out of an envelope that has no name on it. They're put into a pile. Then those envelopes are opened. This is by the resolution board.
Right.
And they look at the first envelope, make sure it's a real vote. Then they hand it to the next person. He takes it out, puts it in a pile. Then they come back down to the front of the desk, and then they open them all, and then they go through the machine to be counted. Right. They're not counted by hand.
Right.
Okay. So we cleared all of that up that they're saying is going on. The other thing is voter ID. Voter ID should be just that. If you don't have your ID, you don't vote.
Right.
That's that. We should be doing the absentee voting.
I mean, because how far is the precinct from your house? Go home and get it and come back.
Well,
it's
voter.
It's common sense.
It's called election day.
It's called common sense.
Treat it just like you were going to get your government check.
Yep.
You got to have your ID.
Yep.
Treat it like you're going to the doctor.
Yep.
You got to have your ID.
Yep. Everybody has one.
Treat it like you're trying to go.
If you don't have one, you're up to some mischievous.
Treat it like you're going to a bar.
Okay.
You got to have your ID.
You do.
Okay. Treat it like you're driving your car to the precinct. You got to have your ID.
You do. It's very true.
It's not that hard. You legislators are just making something. It's like every time you turn around, if you would just enforce the rules that are on the books of the laws that we have in elections and in life, we wouldn't need to be making more rules and laws. You just want your name in the book. That's all y'all want.
Nope.
It's like the father of the country. There's only one George Washington. Nobody else can be George Washington. Period.
Right. Right.
He was number one. Nobody's going to go past him.
Right.
So you people really don't understand what all bad happens in elections.
No.
And the problem is the legislature's not going to educate you. And most of the people in the legislature are not educated on the election process.
Right.
They just think that, because, for instance, let's say if your buddy tells you to run, you run, and you're unopposed and you win, you never know any of this stuff that goes on.
Right. I always said it was good politics to do a back-end examination of your election. When people said, should I audit my election? Well, yes, everybody who runs should then audit their election.
That way y'all would know what's in a box.
Yep.
I challenge any group of y'all who wants to really do any election thing to invite me and Taylor. And I have a friend, Timothy Jenkins, who was a 10-year election commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
You pick the county. We will go there and show you the corruption in the box.
Yep.
And I promise you it's in every county in the state, because the stuff is kept for X amount of time. We can go up here to Madison County right now. I bet you there are boxes. And look, we don't even have to go in the boxes. We'll just start pulling out the boxes and seeing if all the material's there.
We could go to Hines County right now and all of the boxes would be separated.
Yeah. And you have boxes in Madison and there that are not sealed.
And we're
talking about cardboard boxes on the wall, not the actual election box where they're supposed to be.
Yes. Boxes that were completely incomplete, boxes that didn't have anything but the register tape that was printed out of it, which is all. And if y'all really want to know about elections, I have a video that is basically from the voting machine company ES&S that talks all about the 7 ways that we can verify a vote from the ballot box. And I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page.
Okay. And your Facebook page is?
Taylor Turcott, 2 T's and an E.
Okay.
But
like, for instance, what you're talking about there, ES&S. Let me put it this way. In Canton, Mississippi, when we have an election,
yep,
we request what person we want from ES&S. And in one election where the vote was going the wrong way for the mayor, they went and got a voting machine from one of the precincts, went in the circuit clerk's office, the chancery clerk, the clerk's office in the city, and started running ballots through the machine.
Right.
And trying to make up the difference.
Exactly.
Came out and announced who won, but never let us do the tapes or see the tapes or anything that night. That was 2 elections ago, not this last 4 years ago when that cheating, but the 4 years before that.
Last year before last, I did a ballot box inspection. We did not have one complete ballot box. All of the flash drives for all of the ballot boxes were in a bag together in a locked.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of controversy about.
And guess who got the thumb drives out of the vault of the clerk?
Who?
ES&S.
Okay.
And gave it to all of them, to one election commissioner, and nothing was done about it.
And here's your issue here.
And it's all live. I mean, we've got it on video. Everybody could see it, and nobody did anything about it because they can break whatever rules and make them up as they go along.
Because the Secretary of State can't do anything about it.
Nobody can do anything about it.
But you got people at the.
Nobody can even tell me who holds these people accountable.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody holds them accountable. They say the people have to.
Should be.
They say we should.
Well.
But they won't let us organize to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, we're not allowed to do that because we're not elected.
Exactly.
And we don't have a ballot initiative in the state to fix anything. We can. You won't let the people fix the problem.
Exactly.
You won't.
How can I fix something if they will give me a thumb drive and I can hold it in my hand, but I can't plug it into a computer?
That's correct. And let's also go a step further. If I were to pull District 1, Precinct 1,
right,
and all the material is not there,
right,
you now have a crime scene.
Exactly.
Okay. And do you go to District 2 and the same thing and nothing, and then it's not all there. And then it's not supposed to be like in Jackson. It was some was on one side of the road, some was on the other side of the road, where the law says it must all be kept together. And then the state legislature is going to look at us and go, well, we made the rules.
Yeah.
But you didn't give a way for anybody to fix them.
In that audit, they literally looked at me and said, we took all of the leftover ballots out of the ballot boxes, stacked them all together, and they are all over there on that table right there.
You idiots, and I'm going to call you idiots, that are elected to run this state need to take the time to fix what you can fix. You're playing with the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. What's a boy? What's a girl? That's too easy, you know? Women not in sports, too easy. Mm-hmm. Women and men in sports, that's too easy. You're taking all the easy stuff. I can't remember what the other thing I saw that Delbert had up the other day. It's all too easy. Do the real things. Delbert, you were Secretary of State when all this stuff was created. I'm just glad that when you were Secretary of State, you weren't smart enough to take your name off that paperwork you had that showed you worked at an abortion clinic then you could have fixed that back then. Can't fix it now because it got out, but you could have fixed it back then, you know, because you were in charge, because that's the way it works. You missed something. So you're not as smart as you think you are, Delbert. So let's start fixing things. Let's start fixing what's on the books, and you got to fix the elections. You got to fix the elections. We got to take a break. We'll be back right here on WYAB. And we're back on a final Monday here on the Chip Matthews Show with Taylor Turcott.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy President's Day to our chief that's out there now running the streets.
Yep.
And I told everybody he would be at the Daytona 500 when we went to the Super Bowl.
Of course he was.
He will be at the Indy 500. He will be at the Final Four.
He will.
This president is like taking America like a big parent, and he's going, I'm going to fix everything for you. I'm going to keep you from getting hurt. I'm going to keep you from getting harmed, and I'm going to support you when you go do your little sporting events.
Did he do a flyover again this year like he did the last years?
No, he went to the 500 and drove around on the track.
Normally he drives around the track, but they do a flyover when they came in the first time.
No, he never has. Nobody's ever driven around the track in a limousine.
I think he did a couple of years ago in the Beast. Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did. In his first presidency, he
no, he didn't.
Okay.
Maybe in the Indy 500, but not the Daytona 500.
Somewhere he did a lap.
But anyway.
In the Beast.
Okay.
And they went wild.
Okay. Well, I drive a Beast. I'm gonna do a lap around. I'm gonna drive a lap around the square when I win my election.
Do you have a sunroof in that thing that you can stand up in the seat and?
He doesn't have a sunroof that he can stand up in.
I know, but do you have a sunroof in yours?
No.
Oh, so you can't
I'll be
sit
like
on
the
roof.
president. I'll just wave.
Wave out.
Okay.
Wow.
But I did order the flags for the front corners. The American flags to be on both corners. Yeah. Okay. Don't
get too far over your skivvies.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm gonna enter the race for governor.
Are you?
I'm gonna get in there with Shad and all them, and I'm gonna cut it up.
Wow.
I'm going to split the vote.
Talk about forward thinking.
I'm going to split the vote of the corrupt people.
Okay.
Where Shad can win.
Okay.
I just called
You're just always running for something, huh?
You got to be. If you're not running for something, you're running from something.
Wow.
Okay. But anyway.
Goodness.
Anyway, y'all understand that legislators are in town for a short time, and they have one job, and that is to create laws and fix laws that they don't understand. And the election laws are on the book. You just haven't given anybody the power of oversight in these elections except for the people. And the people don't have a ballot initiative. We don't have a voice. When you walk into something and
believe me, as a voter, I can tell you we have no voice. We have no teeth when we go in there.
And someone elected will always step on the person that's not elected.
Yep.
That's just the way it works.
Yep.
And people that aren't elected go, well, what are we going to do? Because the first thing they said, well, I'm going to have to call the sheriff, or I'm going to have to call the police and have you removed from the building.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. When we went to vote, Timothy Jenkins and I went before the Madison County Election Board and tried to explain what was going on.
Right.
The lawyer, who is also the person in charge of the ballot initiative, he's the chairman of that board.
Right.
Had tried to have us arrested in the meeting for discussing. He said, there's no way that some crime has been committed.
Yep.
And we said, yes, there is. We have the proof.
Yep.
And they go, where'd you get the proof? We got it from y'all.
Yep.
We did records requests and it's stamped and it came from y'all.
Yep.
That's impossible. But that is what we did.
Exactly. But they can do whatever they want because right then they make up the rules as they go along.
So y'all, the ballot initiative, which was highly talked about for years, didn't even come up so far in the legislative session. Yet they're not doing anything down there to make our lives better. They're not fixing what they're there to fix. They're playing with the low-hanging fruit, the obvious things, the things that you could put on a ballot initiative and everybody in Mississippi could vote. And if we wound up with 3 sexes, that's what we would have is 3 sexes. We need to decide that.
Right.
Because y'all obviously want to spend our money and try to figure it out.
Do we really need to fix?
No, we don't need to fix it. It's common sense.
Exactly.
That's just like we can't tell which trees are dead or alive out there. We need to ask the Senate to tell us which ones we can cut down and which ones we can't.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Nope.
The dead trees, cut them down.
Right.
Clean them up.
Right.
Cut the grass. Clean them up. We have
follow election law. That's all that they need to do.
Even right now, if someone
have very good election law.
If somebody has not cut the grass, you know who to go talk to, and that person has the authority to fix it.
Right.
But we can't go to talk to anybody about the election because nobody has the authority to fix it.
Nope.
So fix that. Okay. That's it for us. Say goodbye, Taylor.
Goodbye, Taylor.
And I'm Chip Matthews. We'll see you tomorrow
Y'all
right
follow
here
me on Facebook. I just
on
posted that
WYAB.
video.